As we move into the second question, and I'll read it to you. Philip, the relationship of republicanism as a political doctrine with what is called the economic constitution of the state, which are the parameters the state is allowed to act within the economy/market?
Well, I think there are two things. I mean, one, the economy has to be regulated by the state, and wealth has got to be distributed. I mean, has to be redistribution, or at least some containment by the state that ensures that no one lives in abject poverty. Ideally, I know this is an ideal. It's very hard to reach in many countries, of course, and Peru has got its own problems, as we know. But you have to have some basis, on which people can rely for at least basic social security. That, I would say, is the first thing. The second is, though, that while economic activity has to be capable of proceeding smoothly, it must be stable. The state's relationship to the economic system must be one under which the economic system is allowed to evolve in a relatively stable way. The state can't be interfering now and then changing its mind, changing taxes. Levels of taxation, for example, should be established in a way that isn't changed every time government changes. It remains relatively stable. Equally, I said the first thing, apart from, so to speak, stability in the system, is that each individual should have a basic safety net of security. But again, that should remain stably in position rather than being, tampered with, changed all the time. It shouldn't be subject to that sort of political interference. But consistently with that, the state still does remain and has to remain in charge of the economy. The economy isn't something separate from the community or separate from the polity, separate from the state or the government. No, it occupies a space within the country, which is, after all, controlled by the law of the society over which the state presides. When I say the state, I mean including the courts and so on. Now, I think that system, what's really important is it gives individuals a basic security, and it remains relatively stable across political changes and party changes and who's in power. I mean, there'll always be some changes, but there has to be a basic stability, because only then can people know that they can rely on, for example, prices remaining, roughly speaking, as they are now. They won't be wild inflation. Only then can people rely on, if they are employers, in employing people and knowing that they're going to operate under more or less the same terms that they enter business, that government isn't going to be changing the terms of business all of the time. So again, social security and system stability, I think those are the two really crucial things.